I think it was a comedy, but that's what I thought of Winds of War, too. So who knows what's going to happen tonight? All I know for sure is in 90 minutes I go to
A chill hangs over every Hollywood legend, but Robert Mitchum's feels colder because the facts never quite line up. One minute, he is the drifter who jumped freight cars and fought anyone breathing. The next, he is the ice-cool star who made. Critics whisper that danger had finally found its perfect face. Family letters just unsealed paint an even stranger portrait, one packed with runaway nights, a secret jailbreak, and a phantom charity that slipped millions to burned children, without ever printing his name. Stick around, and you'll see why the man who seemed carved from granite kept erupting like a live volcano, even in the quiet of his own living room. The story opens in Bridgeport, Connecticut, 1917. Steel mills rattle the riverbanks, soot clouds block out the sun, and a toddler named Robert Charles Derman Mitchum watches his father hammer rail ties for 12 hours straight. 2 years later, the hammer misses its mark. A freak rail yard accident ends the elder Mitchum's life and pitches the family into survival mode. His mother, Anne, heads south to Delaware, remarries a stern naval officer, and prays the countryside. Will sand the rough edges off her 6-year-old. It doesn't. Mitchum fights classmates, teachers, anyone who looks twice. Expelled again and again, he bolts for New York at 13, parking himself in Hell's Kitchen long enough to spark another brawl, another boot out the door. With the Great Depression in full swing, he turns hobo, riding the rails coast to coast. Boxcar nights are brutal. Frozen boots, ripped knuckles, half-healed knife scrapes. In Savannah, he gets nabbed for vagrancy. At least that's the version Mitchum tells for the next 60 years. He swears the judge shunted him onto a Georgia chain gang where guards whipped inmates who slowed their shovels. He also swears he slipped the shackles and vanished into the swamps. Court ledgers from 1933 are missing. Some biographers call it bunk, others say it explains the hard glaze in his eyes. Either way, the myth locks into place. Robert Mitchum isn't acting tough. He's reporting from memory. The plot twists on an ordinary Long Beach evening in 1937. Mitchum's sister Julie is starring in a community play when another actor flakes. She drags her hulking brother out of the audience, pins a fake mustache on him, and pushes him under the lights. The audience laughs, producers notice, and within months he's punching cowboys off horses in a blizzard of B-westerns. 19 pictures in 1943 alone. Every low-budget set teaches him a secret. Don't overreach, don't oversell. Let the camera come to you. The studios see it too. RKO ropes him at $350 a week, cheap insurance on a talent they don't quite understand. Then comes the story of G.I. Joe. Mitchum plays a combat-numbed lieutenant so convincingly that General Eisenhower calls it the best war film ever made. Oscar voters nod, the draft board salutes, and ships him to real boot camp. He spends 8 months as an Army medic, mostly cracking jokes in the infirmary before a medical discharge lands him back in Hollywood. This time, he's making $3,000 a week and sleeping 4 hours a night to keep pace with demand. Success, however, has a habit of finding the tripwire. August 31st, 1948. Mitchum ducks into a tucked-away Laurel Canyon house for what he thinks is a quiet smoke break. For 8 months, the LAPD has wired the walls and peeped from the trees, trying to snare a big fish in their new anti-pot crusade. Cameras burst in, flashbulbs explode. Mitchum raises an eyebrow, exhales, and tells reporters, "Boys, I've been smoking for years. I figured I'd get caught sooner or later." He pleads no contest, blinks twice at the 50-day sentence, and reassures the judge he'll treat jail like Palm Springs without the riffraff. Life magazine photographs of the star-mopping prison floors rocket around the globe, and pundits pronounce his career dead. They're wrong. 17 days after the raid, Rachel and the Stranger opens to packed theaters. Blood on the Moon follows even hotter. Scandal plus swagger equals ticket gold. If jail can't stop him, love certainly won't keep him in check. Mitchum marries Dorothy Spence in 1940 after persuading her to dump his own brother, but domestic bliss is a mirage. On the set of My Forbidden Past, he tangles with Ava Gardner, whose late-night phone call to Dorothy includes the immortal plea, "You've had him 10 years. Give someone else a turn." The answer is no. Marilyn Monroe sprains an ankle during River of No Return, and Mitchum scoops her from the rapids. Tabloids pounce on the chemistry. Rita Hayworth, Shirley MacLaine, a string of dancers whose names dissolved in gin. Whispers follow every shoot. Dorothy files divorce papers in 1970, slams them on their Maryland kitchen table, and tells him 3 choices remain: rehab, repentance, or goodbye. Mitchum stares at the floor, mutters he doesn't deserve her, and signs into Betty Ford. The papers go back into the drawer, but the damage to his children is harder to file away. Son Christopher lands promising roles alongside John Wayne, then finds every casting door suddenly locked. Years later, one director levels with him. Rumor: "Is your dad phoned the studios? Said fame would ruin you." Christopher tries confronting the old man. Mitchum changes the subject, lights another cigarette, and the truth evaporates. Professional daring never cools. For Night of the Hunter, he researches real murderer Harry Powers, humming hymns in a syrupy baritone until crew members avoid the catering truck. For Cape Fear, he rips out 1,000 push-ups daily, sheds 30 pounds, and swaggers around set half-naked so everyone can smell the menace. Gregory Peck later admits that every flinch on camera was genuine because Mitchum just kept coming. A few years later, David Lean hires him for Ryan's Daughter, demands 83 takes of a silent pub scene, and nearly drives Mitchum to quit. Instead, the actor storms off, cools down overnight, returns, and nails the moment in a single shot that makes hardened grips weep. He ages up for the friends of Eddie Coyle by chugging beer, sleeping in a beater car, and pocketing his dentures so his jawline can sag like a worn tire. Why fake failure, he tells the makeup crew, when life hands it to you free? The 1980s should have been a slow fade, but Mitchell outflanks time by jumping media. The Winds of War miniseries offers a fraction of his usual salary and a gamble that television audiences will accept a 70-plus leading man. 140 million viewers tune in. Critics who once called him yesterday's outlaw now hail him as the last bridge between old Hollywood and Reagan-era spectacle. Behind the glare, another plot hums. One neither press agents nor family dared reveal until after his death. In 1952, Mitchum shirt-sleeved a Delaware attorney, incorporated the Derman Foundation, using his long-buried middle name, and ordered absolute silence. Over 3 decades, the foundation funneled money into a pediatric burn wing at Children's Hospital Los Angeles, built after a young stuntman's accident shook Mitchum on set, and paid rent for homeless veterans he met during 2 USO tours in Vietnam. Tax ledgers list no celebrity trustees, only a string of anonymous deposits. When journalists ask, family members shrug. Good deeds speak, the actor doesn't. Important note to viewers: historians haven't located the Foundation's full archive, so details remain unverified. But former hospital administrators confirm. A private donor matching Mitchum's description covered entire wards when budgets collapsed. Rumor? Maybe. In a life already bursting with contradictions, it feels exactly right. June 1997 corners him at last. Lung cancer claws one lung. Emphysema strangles the other. Doctors offer chemo. He shakes his head, says the medicine would kill. His spirit faster than the disease. Painkillers, sunlight, and Dorothy's steady hand at his elbow are enough. Children file through the Santa Barbara house. Patrine walks him to the porch for sea air, Christopher slips a peace-offering poem on the bedside table, and Jimmy cracks the same awful joke about 2 kidneys until Mitchum laughs himself into a coughing fit. Jane Russell stops by, so does Deborah Kerr. He quotes Kipling, winks, and orders everyone back to living. At dawn on July 1st, he goes quiet for good. Cremation per his wish, ashes scattered off the coast, though one cousin suggests dividing them like stock certificates. Dorothy snuffs that idea with a glare worthy of any noir heroine. A month later, her own ashes join his in the Pacific kelp beds they used to sail. So, what do we do with a man built on paradox? He tore down his children's dreams, yet paid strangers' hospital bills. He could sit silent for an entire dinner, then stay up till dawn untangling his daughter's toy plane with tweezers and glue. He told a judge jail felt like vacation, but held a lifelong terror of dentists. He kept Hollywood at arm's length, yet reinvented himself every time the town counted him out. Maybe the enigma is the point. Mitchum never bothered polishing his halo or sharpening his horns. He simply lived every contradiction at full volume and let the audience decide which song they liked best. Pause here, viewer, and ask yourself, when myths tangle with evidence, which Robert Mitchum do you choose to remember? The outlaw, the craftsman, or the ghost who left thank you notes in hospital ledgers no one ever saw? Drop your verdict in the comments, and if you want more untold backstories from Hollywood's shadow files, smash that subscribe button before the credits roll. Because next week we crack open another legend whose smile hid a storm you won't believe.